have a couple other members that may be coming. What we're going to do today, colleagues, if we can get a concurrence on number 4 as a consent item, we can move that item.
So moved.
Okay. And then also we'll hold item 1, which is our only closed session item, to as last, so we can get through items 2 and 3. What I'd like to do at this time is that we go let me ask if Ms. Perry is here. We'll go to item 2, and Ms. Perry would like to make some comments, and then we'll go to the cards. Because of the large number of cards, we're going to go with 1 minute per card. We'd ask everyone's cooperation in that we not have applause, hissing, or anyone that's showing disapproval as to someone's comments. Everybody's going to get their minute clear so that they can have a way to express themselves, but we would not like to have anyone take advantage of any of the speakers, whether you agree or not. And so if you want to speak, make sure you put your cards in on any of the items, and that's items 2 and 3. Ms. Perry, if you'd like to come up at this time and talk to us about item 2, then we will go to the public comment, and then then we will go to the public comment, and then we will go to the staff report.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and to the committee members. Thank you for considering this item first. First and foremost, I want to express my deep gratitude to everyone who has come out today to support this pledge amendment. From the 9th District community residents, such as the Pueblo del Rio Resident Advisory Committee, to the farmers from 111th and Stanford, to Laura, L-A-U-R-A, to the business organizations such as the Central Avenue Business Association, the Los Angeles Chamber of Commerce, the Central City Association, to the industry organizations such as California Fashion and the Fashion District Business Improvement District. To all of you, I appreciate your involvement and support in this matter. Now, colleagues, I'm here today to ask for your support in amending a pledge agreement from a land pledge of 2.6 acres to a cash pledge of $36 million. This is a one-time only pledge. These funds will be used to directly benefit existing recreation spaces in the immediate area of 41st and Alameda. Additionally, approval of the pledge amendment will allow the, as it's referred to, Pima Development to move forward. The Pima Development is comprised of 4 garment manufacturing companies: Poetry, Impact, Miss Me, and Active. These are some of the leading-edge apparel companies, and I am glad that they are planning to open their headquarters here in Los Angeles. Los Angeles is the largest apparel distribution center in the nation, having surpassed New York City in the mid-1990s, directly employing more than 121,000 people. The fashion industry is the region's largest manufacturing base and private sector employer, according to 2010 data from the Los Angeles Economic Development Corporation. This development will create 300 new construction jobs and 600 new permanent jobs. This development will transfer approximately 600 existing employees to the site.
How many jobs did you say?
It will be 300 construction jobs, 600 new permanent jobs.
Great, thank you.
And then it will transfer 600 existing employees to the site, many of whom live in the immediate area. 40% of the Pima transfer employees live within 1 mile of the site and can walk to work if they choose to do so. 65% of the Pima transfer employees live within a 3-mile radius of the site and can take public transportation to work. 68 of the Pima transfer employees live in high unemployment zip codes within the Los Angeles city boundary. Finally, all the new jobs created by Pima will be covered by a local hire agreement through PV Jobs, the YWCA, Job Corps, and the Coalition for Responsible Community Development, helping to give people in the immediate area employment opportunities. This is an industrial zone piece of land in a heavily industrialized corridor, and it was not appropriate for a park. It should be used for job creation. Amending the pledge agreement will provide much-needed support to existing recreation facilities in the area and enable us to create some green space within the housing development referred to as Pueblo del Rio. So I hope that you will approve the report drafted by the Chief Legislative Analyst today, and I'm here if you have any questions.
Let me just ask a couple of questions. One, could you delineate the difference in the amount of new green space versus enhanced green space?
I also need to make one correction. If I said 36 million, I meant 3.6 million. So, although I would love to have $36 million, that would be a heck of a lot of money. That would be fantastic.
Tony Carden is seconded to 36.
Yes, for 36. Well, we have met with the residents of Pueblo del Rio and their Residents Advisory Council and talked to them about creating some additional food gardens within their housing development. We are also looking at Ross Snyder Park and Fred Roberts Park. Both parks are within radius of this property to enhance the green space that is there, and yet to be decided as to what the residents want to see there and how we allocate this money, but we will be heavily engaged in involving them in the planning process.
You mentioned earlier it's an industrial area.
Yes.
Why was the decision made that the park was unacceptable to be used in that space? Well,
as you know, it's near the Alameda Corridor, right off the Alameda Corridor, heavily trafficked of goods from the port and north-south corridor. It is a transportation corridor and a goods movement corridor, and there was a great concern on my part, and I'm on the board of the South Coast Air Quality Management District regarding the quality of the air there and whether it really did lend itself to creating park space there in a way that would be healthy and conducive to people who might use it. And we're in desperate need of jobs. This is the last piece of assembled land in South LA in the 9th District of this magnitude. So to have the opportunity to bring jobs directly into the community, bring jobs closer to where people already live, and to enable them to be able to walk to work or take public transportation was an overriding consideration.
Was there any issues in the sense, other than the air quality? Is there some issue regarding the actual land?
Yeah. I mean, the land itself, given the things that have occurred on it over the years, has certain hot pockets, as they call it, or elements of contamination. And while I had communicated that to legal stakeholders many years ago, that was never something that was dealt with prior, but there's contamination on that property, and it's not fit for children and families being on that property.
So, Councilmember Perry, basically, the land overall has been used for decades past for industrial purposes, et cetera, and very likely during the periods of time that we really didn't have environmental protections that we have today. For example, it was easily 50 years ago, industrial uses used to dig a hole in the back of their facility and just dump it in there, covered over, and without paperwork, without documentation, and only God knows what's on that land based on the history of usage. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
And if I could just follow up on that, the check for $3,573,365 is in lieu of a park being there.
Right.
And the reason you don't want to park there is because the community's industrial and it doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense from a land use perspective, from an air quality perspective, from a contamination perspective in South Los Angeles. And there has been diagnostics done on that site, and it's in the official city file. Is well known for having higher concentrations of hexavalent chromium in the soil because of the extent of manufacturing post-World War II. Basically,
So then you take that money and you're going to put it in existing parks that could use that kind of support.
2 parks that are in the immediate area, plus Pueblo del Rio, which is just the next block down, 2 blocks down, to give them some improvements and some opportunity to have some gardens in there to grow food.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
So I presume the city doesn't have any responsibility for remediation of that site as a result of this, right?
Well, it's private property.
Right, so the private people there will be the ones that have to pay the bill for that.
Well, and I'm sure you're familiar with levels of remediation that need to be done depending on what occurs on a site. Obviously, higher levels of remediation of contamination are imposed upon situations where you might have a school or housing or sensitive receptors versus manufacturing or other industrial activity where they're not the presence of sensitive receptors like children.
But to the extent that there is remediation, it'll be done by the private owners of this, not,
Yeah,
city
it's
has
private.
no responsibility for that.
Privately held, the land is currently in escrow.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Perry. We're going to start off with the cards against. I'm going to call 4 names initially, and as you speak, we'll fill in your slot with another person. So as you speak, you can move back to your audience chair. So we're going to start Mauricio. Mauricio here.
Come on up.
Come on up to the mic. Rosa Romero, Michael Feinstein, Linda Piera Avila.
Hi, my name is Mauricio. I'm a resident of Los Angeles. I'm here in support of the South Central Farm and against this proposal. I'm embarrassed really to be here to even be discussing this, to witness LA theatrics at work and the way that Jan Perry manipulates the facts that speaks on what-ifs, things not presenting actual evidence, and unfortunately there's cheerleaders here for her. So at a time when people in your community actually have other needs besides hot air, or times where people need, actual help, you guys are playing the game, and you're going back on an initial agreement that was supposed to be a park, that was supposed to be something. If it wasn't legal, if it was something that she had concerns for, why are they being raised now after the fact that her other deal to remove the farm from their location went through? So, as a resident of Los Angeles, I repeat again, I'm embarrassed to be here to witness the city theatrics on display, these backdoor meetings that happen, and for your constituents, do the right thing and go against this proposal.
Rosa?
Yes, my name is Rosa Romero.
Find out what happened. Linda is here?
Yes.
Okay, very good. All right.
My name is Rosa Romero. I'm a resident of South LA, and I'm here on behalf of the Urban Environmental Policy Institute at Occidental College. I think we need to understand that in the area there's a lot of empty warehouses in Alameda Corridor area, and I think that there could be other sites for this development. Because of the history of this land, it's one of the only continuous pieces of land that we have in Los Angeles, and when it was taken away from being what it was, which was one of the largest urban farms, one of the things that gave the community hope was that, okay, maybe we'll have a park there, maybe we'll have some kind of green space there. I think we need to understand that this isn't just an industrial area. I live down the street from there. There are a lot of residents just right across the street. It's a mixed area, and although maybe they want it to be a fully industrial area, it's not. There's a lot of residents there. I think that giving the money to other local parks, I think it's great. I think we could find another way to enhance the park system, but taking away from what we've already promised the community is kind of a slap in the face.
Thank you.
And there is another proposal on the table right now with Horowitz to build another place with green jobs that would really be there, but Jan Perry has refused to meet with the
Thank you very
residents.
much, ma'am. Everybody gets 1 minute. Next 2 speakers come up, Leslie Radford, and is it Mr. Tezumak? Okay, why don't you come up? I got the T right. Miss Michael Feinstein
You can begin.
and Linda.
You can start.
As a former mayor and city council member in Santa Monica, I have a lot of familiarity with in lieu fees. I don't believe this one passes the smell test. It contradicts your own general element. Your open space element specifically calls out South Central for more parks and open space, the only call out in your entire general plan, and for more community gardens and farmers markets. So that's what was there before. Then when you had this legally questionable deal where you gave the land back to Horowitz on cents on the dollar, supposedly the thing that you got back that fits your whole nexus here is that you got space on site. To go ahead and now say that it's acceptable to have just putting money into existing park space rather than gaining new space defeats the point of the deal you had before and contradicts your general element. And what it seems to me is more about showing that a council member can deliver a project for a developer by removing the conflict with the EIR. This was fine before to put in. Suddenly it's not environmentally with the deal a few years ago? Sorry.
Excuse me, Michael, you say you're a former elected official?
Yes, sir.
Can you go back to what you just said and re-explain your point on that the city did something with this land?
The deal of giving the land back to Horowitz.
No, excuse me. You be careful with your words. As a former elected official, you know the difference between giving and selling and the court's mandate.
Yes.
Right?
And
are you, excuse me for a second, can you answer this? Are you aware of the fact that the courts mandated that we give Mr. Horowitz a first right of refusal on this land, and then that's how it is now in his hands? Are you aware that the courts got involved?
I'm aware you did the deal in closed session, and the reason I use the word give is that the city gave the land back in that it's settled for much less than the land was worth. And in my mind, that is a public giving of an asset. And the only thing you got back was park space, which was in your general element, and now you want to give it away for somebody who's running for mayor.
Just for the benefit of everybody here, are you aware that Mr. Horowitz was the previous owner of the land before the city became the owner of the land?
I was, and I would have made that deal. I would not have made that deal if I was on the
Hold on, you'll get your minute. How did we end up getting that land? Did we eminent domain it, or did he give it to us?
Oh, you know what? You eminent domained it for the right reasons, and I believe the settlement you made out of the public view was for the wrong reasons. And this is only making it worse and taking away more public value.
I appreciate your opinion. Just want to make sure some of the facts were before everybody in the room.
And the reason I use the word give is I felt it was a giving away of public assets.
Linda?
Your opinion.
Thank you.
Next speaker?
Yes.
Thank you.
Linda Piero Avila, South Central Farmers Health and Education Fund Board Member. The accountability quotient in this equation is very low. Releasing the owner from his mitigation pledge to construct communities serving soccer fields so that he can increase his profit margin in a proposed sale to a mega corporation is exactly why there are people occupying cities across the country and right here in front of City Hall. Highly questionable and non-transparent governmental actions allowing and enabling this community betrayal to proceed does not, as Judge Helen Bendix said previously, pass the smell test. The result we are seeing are actions that do not serve the greater community, but serve to enrich the developers and to promote the political agendas of a few others. We want the owner to be held accountable to his pledge and condition of sale in 2003 to build the 2.6 acres of soccer fields. Do not betray the trust of the neighborhood community adjacent to 41st and Long Beach. People there at Ross Snyder Park play soccer all the time. They use the tennis courts to play soccer. And here are two pictures of that, and I want to submit them for the record.
Give it to Sergeant at Arms. They'll get it to us. Sarah Nolan and Maria Cavero.
They're in the overflow, so are you going to allow people to come in from the overflow to give
His
testimony?
name is on the list. We're going to allow them to speak, yes.
All right.
Now, you're next. Leslie.
Leslie Rapp.
Let me ask the people if they're in overflow. Sarah Nolan and Maria Cavero. All right.
First of all, I want to welcome Pima to this. Although I stand here speaking for the South Central Farm, I do, in fact, encourage jobs, and I think jobs is a wonderful thing. We have plenty of industrial space in this town, and what I don't understand is why the developer here is not content with the 12 acres that were originally arranged for him. Quite frankly, it was Ms. Perry who arranged for the soccer field in the first place and now wants to take it away. If I lived in that neighborhood, gentlemen, and I say this with all my heart, I would be in jail right now to protect my soccer field. And I think anybody in this room who has been through what this community has been through, has had a farm demolished out from under them, a farm that was providing them with fresh produce in a food desert. Gentlemen, I have to ask you, please, on top of this, on top of that insult, you're going to take that away, that was valued at $16 million, and you can't find it in your being to allow them to have two parks. $3.6 million will disappear rapidly. A park will be there forever.
Thank you. Sir, would you repeat your name so we have it accurately in the record?
My name is Tesosomok.
Okay.
I'm Tesosomok. I'm one of the representatives of the South Central Farmers. I'm here today because we don't have a budget to bus people in, and we don't have the budget to give them free lunches. Like, the developer got an $8 million free lunch. But I do want to turn in 2,069 signed petitions from the community opposing this project. They can't be here because they're working and they have other obligations, but we did since June, basically been doing this work on the ground, talking to all these people. So I'm turning this in for the record.
Thank you.
Additionally, I want to say that, today is a National Food Day, and it's very ironic that we're sitting here shutting down the last vestiges of what was the largest urban farm in the United States. Our documentary has spread across the world, and there's thousands of gardens that have been basically inspired by the work that we've done. And this is embarrassing to be here, that you're still trying to shut this down.
Thank you very much. Sarah?
Hi.
Okay, just give me 1 second. Maria Cavero? Okay, you had 2 cards in, so you can only speak once.
Okay.
Okay, and then Robert Cavero and Bruce Campbell, if you'd come up at this time. Okay, Sarah?
Hi, my name is Sarah. I'm a campus chaplain and a member of the Christian faith, and because of my faith and my beliefs, I think it's appalling what is happening here, and there are a lot of community members that are outside unable to be in here as well, and I just want to make note of that and hope that they get an opportunity, because I do not want to speak for them, but I do want to let you know that they are here outside, and that's all I have to say.
I'm assuming, I don't know.
That's all. I want to give my time over to other people.
Okay, you can't give it away, but if you can stop when you're through.
Right.
Okay.
You still have 36 seconds in case you want to continue.
Okay. I am a member of the LA Food Policy Council's working groups and work really closely with the city around developing better food policy. And a big part of food policy is land use and policies that promote urban agriculture, which could be cutting edge for the city of Los Angeles. And there are possibilities to see this city be on the front lines and use either public funds, private funds, whatever is necessary to make food more accessible to the families that are within the South Central neighborhood and beyond. And it can be an economic development project as well. So I don't see any reason why it has to be a garment factory.
Okay, thank you. Maria Cavaro, Roberto Cavaro, Bruce Campbell.
She needs translation?
Okay, we'll get translation right here.
Official translator paid for by the city. Correct. Yeah.
Muy buenas tardes. Mi nombre es María Cabrero. Good afternoon, my name is María Cabrero. Yo aquí estoy presente por una preocupación en el sentido personal, vamos a decir.
I'm here present because I have a concern, a personal concern.
Siempre donde hubo en los tiempos, en los principios de este país, antes que existiera ya sea las casas de materiales nobles.
At the inception of this country, before the real mortar type homes were built,
hermoseó mucho la vegetación.
What we used to work, instead of building homes, way at the inception of this country, we used to work vegetation and agriculture.
La humanidad apreció y valoró y aprendió de la naturaleza.
Human beings at that time appreciated, valued, and learned from nature.
Vivió en paz, en armonía y trabajó con toda la libertad.
Human beings lived in peace, in harmony with nature, and with full freedom.
Dios es perfecto en lo que hizo.
God is perfect in what He created.
Pero pedimos por favor que no destruya lo poco que queda. La ciudad necesita.
And what we ask you is to please do not destroy whatever little we have left, because the city needs this.
Ya que queda un pequeño pulmón para poder limpiar la ciudad que nos queda.
Since the way I see it is a small lung that is left in order to use it to clean the city that we have in our hands.
Todavía hay niños y jóvenes que necesitan disfrutar de la naturaleza.
There are children and youth who need to enjoy nature.
Creo que eso podemos tomar en conciencia y valorar lo que en realidad hizo Dios, todo perfecto, pero como humanos lo acomodemos y adornemos bonito la ciudad sin destruir el pulmón que queda.
And that's what we need to be aware of, and I reiterate again, God made everything beautiful and perfect, and so as a city, let's get together, let's keep and maintain what we have already built.
Thank you very much.
Please, thank you.
Let me just ask the clerk, we have a interpreter, could you move it to 2 minutes so we can track that? Okay, is this Roberto here? Is he going to speak? I know.
He speaks English.
Okay, would he like to speak? You got a card in?
There you go. Get as close as you can to the microphone. You can pull it closer. There you go.
Hi, my name is Robert, and I'm from the co-op from South Central Farm, and I'm saying that I want people and kids so that they could be healthy and the world won't like be just buildings. I want like nature to be so that we won't just like kids won't just be in the video games or just in TV. I want them like to explore nature and so that they can have fun and we could live better in the world, and then we will live longer, and it'll be a beautiful world for all of us, for our community, and for the whole world. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let me ask 3 more people to come up. Refugio Caballas, Lima Zeltzer, and Alberto Talato. Okay, Mr. Campbell.
Good day, I'm Bruce Campbell, Environmental Chair of Progressive Democrats of Los Angeles. PDLA has taken a formal position calling for the restoration of the entire South Central Farm site as a community farm or as a farm park hybrid. Since the 2.6 acres is part of this site, thus we oppose this ploy to deprive the community of additional park and farmland. The Forever 21 proposal would have built a warehouse distribution center on 11 acres and would have resulted in an additional 2,581 diesel truck trips a day to the area, according to the preliminary documents. They never did an EIR. So if the entire property is built on, does that mean maybe around 3,000 or so additional truck trips for the area? Why don't you just declare it a national or municipal sacrifice zone? Also, at the Harbor Commission, we were assured that, by the way, Pima Development I heard of last week, pathetic ignoring of municipal agreement. And maybe that can be a slogan in the boycott campaign. Please reject this measure.
Thank you.
And, or we'll have to look into how some council members may be related to that increasingly unpopular 1%. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Your name?
Hi, everybody. My name is Alberto, and we know the legalities. We know the history about the South Central Farm. This is not a game anymore. You're playing with the lives of people. I'm sorry. I've been living in the 9th District my whole life, and guess what? What parks I have? Parks with fake grass. And that is an improvement? I don't think so. You know, the reality is that the community needs a space where they can thrive, where they could grow, where they could be healthy. And this development is not going to bring that in my community. And I stand against it. Why? Because I don't have access to a Trader Joe's. I don't have access to a Whole Foods in my community. And a park as well, too, right? We have these kind of parks in our community. Yeah, they've improved some of them, right? Putting them fake grass. What is that? That's not even real grass. That's not even real nature. And I want you guys to make the right decisions because you know that we'll be here. You know that we have a commitment. We are a community and we are together. And whether what happens is this meeting, because we know politics, we're going to make something of our communities. We're going to improve them our way, what we want. Because we've been through this struggle. We know what's been going on. And stop the lying, stop the lies, stop the back door.
Very much.
Doors. It's just crazy.
Mr. Ward, you gave us a card, but you didn't list whether you were for or against it. Could you let me know? Mr. Ward? Okay, we'll put it aside for a minute. Let me ask 2 other people to come up at this time. Is it Marion Barber and Roberto Angelis to come up at this time? Start.
Yes, hi, my name is Elena Zeltzer, and I am an employee with the Urban and Environmental Policy Institute at Occidental College. And we work on issues of protecting the environment and food security in the city, and I would just like to register my support for the community members that are here fighting for their community to have access to green space, to space to exercise, and space which was it used to be for food production but is no longer that way. The argument that's presented, the fact that the area is environmentally impacted is not a reason to sacrifice the green space that's been proposed. It's actually a reason to increase and improve the amount of green space that's accessible to this community, and not take it away. Thank you.
Thank you. Are you Mr. Barber? Was that Angeles?
I'm Mr. Ward.
Oh, you're Mr. Ward. You're against?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, why don't you get started, sir?
Okay, my name is Refugio Ceballos, and I've worked with young people in that area when the South Central Farm was in existence. I still work today with the young people there at Ross Snyder Park. Ross Snyder Park is packed. You can't even find space to play in there, and it's packed all the hours that it's open, and the other park they're speaking of, which is about 10 blocks away, is also packed. I'm saying yes, we do need another park, but I'd like to make another point. The point is, as I just heard here a few seconds ago, that from Ms. Perry, and that was that it's always been an industrial zone. If you look at the record, you'll see what used to be there before were homes. It was not an industry. Secondly, that place also has been, we had tropical plants growing there. It had been proven that, and presently is, clean land that we can eat healthy organic food out of.
Okay, let me ask two other, is Roberto Angeles here?
Can I leave this?
Yes, you leave that, Sergeant. And also, is it Mahan Barber? You want to start, Mr. Ward?
Hi, my name is Don Ward. I'd like to speak out against this proposal to reclaim this land that was given. And I also want to point out, or at least request a point of clarification as to how much this land deal is going for. Is that public record? Do we know how much this land is going to be sold for? How much is Horowitz up for selling this land for? Do we know that? Because the fact is that the city of Los Angeles is spending money in upwards of $65 million to restore Echo Park Lake, and here we have a very dense area just to the west of this piece of land, and I think we should, as a city, be looking to spend equal amounts of money to restore or to add additional park area to this densely populated area of Los Angeles. And also, we've got 5 years now where this piece of land is sat empty, where there could still have been gardens there.
Thank you very much. Let me go over another name, and hopefully I'm pronouncing them. Ms. Barberin lives on Hatteras. Also, Roberto Angeles, John Quigley, Lydia Ponce, Liz Chavez.
You said Barron on Hatteras?
Yes, on Hatteras. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, it's my understanding that Mr. Horowitz is now the owner of the property that's on the agenda, and also should Mr. Horowitz choose to sell the property or enter into some other third-party agreement, that's separate and aside from the authority of the city.
That's true. Okay. You're Mr.
Barron.
Barron?
Yeah.
And sir, what is your name?
John Quigley.
Quigley. Okay, do we have last time Roberto Angeles or Lydia Ponce? Okay. Why don't you start?
Mud Barron, writer for LAist and celebrant of Food Day. Happy Food Day, everyone. one of the issues that we have in front of Food Day is food access. And as a writer, I want to see what folks do, and I want to be able to share that with our quarter million readers every day. So I don't know what other press members are here, but I can guarantee you, whatever your actions are, I'll share that with the community of folks that thinks that LA deserves a 14-acre farm. LA definitely is suffering the costs of health-related issues, as Zev Yaroslavsky put it. Childhood obesity and obesity, biggest health epidemic that LA County faces. We're looking at a $300 billion national number. If we do the math, that's nearly $2 billion in obesity-related illnesses. If there isn't access to growing your own out of the South Central Farm, something that you all relate and support, then where is that access? And it's Food Day, and both our readers and your donors in your future want to know.
Thank you very much. Last call for Roberto Angeles, and also next person up, Liz Chavez. Okay, we have them come in. Lydia, you can start.
No, it's Quigley.
Are you Lydia?
Yeah.
Is Quigley the chairman of this board, or what?
No, I thought his name was
Lydia,
ahead of me.
can I get
Okay.
you started? Thank
And
you.
it's Ponce.
Thank you.
Ponce is a man who solicits women.
Okay.
South LA needs more green spaces. Well, duh. This council seems to repeatedly spend millions of dollars trying to recover property or land that in the sense of the city's health. In this case, you want to push through an amendment. Well, shame on Ms. Perry. I say no amendment, no way, no mayoral seat for Ms. Perry. Shame on her. She needs to realize that she's bussed all these people in and as part of a ruse for her political doings and her personal agenda to finalize the deal with Mr. Horowitz. Why is everything so closed? Why is the case closed? Why do we not know or have the vital information to move this forward as a project for the community, including everyone? From the west side to the east side, this council is responsible to all of its constituents, especially the children, especially our future. Do not push this amendment through, please. I say no, and I say revisit it, agendize it for another meeting where you can really include the community and really have healthy dialogue for our future. Thank you.
Thank you. Are you Liz?
Yes.
Okay, hold on. Mr. Quigley.
So I'm John Quigley. I'm here speaking against this amendment, this payoff, what amounts to a bailout of this developer at a time when trust in our public institutions is arguably at an all-time low. This kind of sort of shady deal that Councilwoman Perry has put forward. At one point, to get the land, he promised this to the community. Now, because he's having difficulty figuring out how to get out of the land, he wants to change the deal. It's an integrity issue. Now, you've heard from the community about the park in that location is a different service to the community than taking a payoff to do something else somewhere further away from that direct community. So I urge you, for the integrity of your institution, to stop this bad deal and stop this bailout of a developer.
Thank you. Next speakers to come up, Sylvia Duran, Maribel Talato, and Arceli Talato. Okay, Liz.
Good morning, council, half of the council. Sad that everybody couldn't be here today, but I'm here once again to plead to you all to save this piece of land. It was promised to be another green space for South Central, and once again, you're threatening to take it away. I don't know if you all know what it is to grow up in a space where there is no green space, nothing but a concrete desert is what we live in. You turn around and there's a building. You turn back around and there's another building, you know? So, if you decide to go ahead and proceed with this project, that's what you're doing. Condemning these kids, more asthma, more diseases that, are not controlled by them, but their surroundings. And it's not their fault. It's not their fault, and you will be partially held responsible for this. And for them not having food and all of that. So just take into consideration when you are making this decision.
Thank you very much. Do we have Sylvia Duran, Maribel Talato, and Arceli? Do we know when this is coming to council?
You can call them again later.
Yeah, I was just trying to get all the against it one time. Do we know, is there a date you're trying to get to council?
I haven't been asked to do it.
What is your name?
My name is Maribel, and I'm a resident of the 9th District for 22 years. I grew up in the farm. I was raised in the farm. And from experience, I could tell you all the benefits that my family harvests from that beautiful land that it was on 41st and Alameda. I ask you to take action and do what's right for the community. We deserve this. The 9th District has been pushed aside for one too many deals that the city has. We ask, and we know you can do the right thing. You need to do the right thing and step up. Our community, my little brothers, my sisters, my cousins, they need a place where they can go grow their own food, learn about all the benefits. We are tired of seeing our kids with obesity, with all these health issues that are going around. We're taking action. The 9th District is taking action into its own hands by growing their own food. What more do we want? Just that. That's all we are asking for. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello? My name is Araceli Catoa. I actually live in South Central. I grew up in the South Central farm. I remember the days, it was the happiest moments of my life, going to the farm, running, actually learning about other different people's culture, not only about mine, knowing about people's food and how to get to know other people. And I want you guys, and I beg you guys to please take this land for the farm, for my family, for my little brother. My little brother, I want him to run around over there feeling safe, not in the park. In the park, I don't even like going to the park around my neighborhood because it's all full of drugs. It's not even clean. The grass, well, it's not even the natural grass. It's fake grass. What, like if you run and over there play, you burn yourself. It's not a good grass. My community deserves better, and it deserves the farm. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are you Sylvia?
Yes.
Okay, and also the last card we have is a Rosalbo Conejo. Okay.
Yes, my name is Sylvia Duran. I've been a long-time resident of South Central. I live close to the affected area, and I would like to state that we're disappointed, my family, myself, and my neighbors, because this area, we had problems in the past with zoning. We complained about the noise of a recycling plant that already exists next to the 14.6 acres. So there's been zoning violations there already, and we don't understand how the city wants to add more troubles to our troubles already, because the we complained already about the recycling plant, and to Ms. Perry's office, we have signed petitions. Nothing has happened. Nobody's called us. They ignore us. And traffic right there is already a nightmare. It's really bad.
Okay.
So we oppose.
Thank you. Rosalvo Conejo. Is there someone coming in?
Sorry.
Oh, no problem.
My name is Rosalba Sanchez, and I'm here as a concerned parent of the LA
You
County.
pull the microphone a little closer.
Sure.
Are you Miss Sanchez or Conejo?
Rosalba Sanchez. I recently got married, so I just realized I went by my maiden last name. I do apologize. The reason why I'm here on such a last-minute notice is because we recently found out that Jan Perry, Councilmember Jan Perry, is turning her back on a deal that she herself forged back in 2006 when she had promised a park, a segment of the 41st and Alameda property to create a park. And right now she's turning on it, trying to sell it, which I don't understand how she can even think about doing that when she's running for mayor next year. I would not vote for an LA mayor that promised the community a park, that told the developer that he had to give up a part of the property, and then last minute decided not to go through with it, and is trying to do it under. I recently followed her page, and I came to find out that this event was not listed under her report. So I'm here asking the community, Tony Cardenas, Bernard Parks, to go ahead and force Jan Perry to keep her word to the community. She promised the South LA Community Park. We're here, we're not paid, we weren't bussed in. Some of us took transportation, some of us got on the bus and the metro. We are supporting the community, and we do ask you that you guys support this man. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're going to start the cards that are supportive of the project. Is it Bridget Johnson?
Thank you.
Also, Ricardo Morales, Ethel Jones, Alma Brown. You start.
Oh,
Give your name.
go? Oh, hi. My name is Bridget Johnson. Good morning. I'm here for the proposal for it. I am for the changes that are going to be made. I live in Pueblo del Rio. I am a representative of the community as the treasurer, and those things that are proposed are needed. The playgrounds are needed. The jobs are needed. The people that are opposed against this, they're talking about food for their family. If jobs come into the community, they are close, they will have money for food for their kids. Thank you. That's all I have to say.
Ricardo Morales, Ethel Jones, Alma Brown, Julia Sanchez.
You go.
You start. Give your name. Yes.
Oh, me? Okay. Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Ethel Jones, and I live in Pueblo del Rio, which is the housing project. And we are here to ask you guys to please sell that property, because where we live at, we could really use that money for all kinds of improvements. We got different sites, different things that's at our place that needs improvements. We need chairs, we need furniture, we need desks, we need all this stuff. I don't know what these people is talking about, but some of these people that is here talking does not know anything about that Lancet place. As of right now, people is on that property right now living, squatters. That place is an eyesore. It's nasty over there. Please sell that so we can use that money. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, my name is Alma Brown. I live over in the Pueblo, and I've been over there 45 years. And I want to let you know, that place that she's talking about is really the truth. They have put gardens up there, but they don't keep them clean and everything, and it just go down. But we need the money for everything for our children. They need jobs and everything. I am the grandmother and great-grandmother. My daughter died. She left 8 kids. So all of them is by grown except 2. And I'm trying to make it through with them because they need jobs. Like I said, some children don't mind by working and some do. And this is the reason we have so much a problem with the police, because some children going to steal. And this is life. And that is what's going on. And we get more jobs and don't have to go a long ways to catch the bus because you don't have the money to catch the bus. They got to eat. So they're not going to do without eating. They're going to do something to get some food. So I want to know, I want you all to look at it, say, one day we all went through this, but some of us are going to be well off and some not. So we're the type we're not well off. So God bless y'all and look at the right thing. Okay, thank you.
Julia Sanchez, Esteban Esperanza, Jose Pereda, Christina Weisner, Jennifer Grita. Is it Andre Williams? What's your name, ma'am? Christina?
Katrina.
Katrina, okay. What's your name, ma'am?
Jennifer Gator.
All right. Ma'am, what's your name?
Your nombre? Your name?
Esperanza Estrada.
All right, why don't we start over here? Ma'am?
Thank you. I'm here in support. I'm the director of a homeless and battered women's shelter. I think we know that jobs are necessary to keep women off the streets.
I've been in those parks, and great improvements are needed, and I can't say enough on behalf of children and jobs.
Thank you.
That's all.
Hi, my name is Katrina Weissner. I'm supporting the Pueblo de Rio housing, and this got me speechless. Well, anyways, it will be a great idea to sell the land and give the money towards the to the community that's nearby. For us, that we do need jobs, put like 600 jobs over there. We do need jobs in the community. The kids are the future, so kids do need places to go. The sand parks do need to be cleaned and modeled. And that's about it, I guess.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yo vivo ahí en Pueblo del Río.
Just a minute, we got an interpreter. While the interpreter's coming, let me ask Jose Parada, Julia Sanchez, Ricardo Morales, Andre Williams, Lisa Song. Okay, get started.
A mí me interesa mucho la propuesta del programa ese de construir los 600 trabajos para la...
I live in Pueblo del Rio, and I'm in favor of creating and bringing this project there because I'm interested in the 600 jobs that this will create.
Sí. Y aparte de eso, el arreglo de los apartamentos que hay ahí.
In addition to that, we know that some of the funds will be used to upgrade the apartments that already exist there.
Sí. Y el campo retroactivo que tienen ahí, recreativo que tienen ahí, que lo arreglen un poco más.
I'm also asking for that recreation area that exists there. I also would like to have some improvements as well.
Eso es para mí muy importante.
And that for me is very important.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you. What is your name, ma'am?
My name is Lisa Song.
Okay, Lisa.
May I proceed? Good afternoon, council members.
Speak right into the mic, Lisa, so you can...
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Lisa Song. I'm here to ask for your support for Pima and the proposed land-to-cash conversion. I've worked at MISME, which is the M in Pima, as an employee for about 2 years. I'm also a resident of Los Angeles and work in a company located in Los Angeles. Every day, the whole company, over 100 employees, are working hard to design, market, distribute product lines to high-end retailers like Nordstrom's and Saks Fifth Avenue. We believe that we have much potential for our company to grow even further. And right now, we have about 130 employees. With this new land, we can actually hire up to 260 employees, and that's only from the M in Pima. So we have a greater chance of expanding. Pima investors have pledged to institute a strong local hiring program for both construction and permanent workers. They want to hire about 30% of the construction workers and the new permanent workers from the surrounding neighborhood areas. So we are looking to help the community as well. It's not just for our benefit.
Thank you. Lynn Myers, Maisu Suk, Shannon Chan, Hugo Morales.
Yes. Good afternoon, council members. My name is Shannon Chan. I'm here also to ask for your support for Pima and the proposed land-to-cash conversion. I work at Poetry, one of the investing companies of Pima. I'm a CFO there, and I've been there for 9 years. Pima represents an opportunity for our company to grow. By building our new facility, we can consolidate our operations and increase our capacity. We think we can double our capacity in the next few years. That means that instead of the 90 employees currently working for us, we can grow to double that. And as Councilmember Perry mentioned, Los Angeles has become the top fashion center of the United States. And we want to continue that growth in the fashion industry. So we're asking for that support for the land to conversion ratio.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
What's the name of your company again?
Poetry Clothing, we're the P in Pima.
Okay, and you were talking about possibly going from 90 employees to doubling that.
Sure.
My number comes up 180.
Yes.
Are you looking to hire people locally?
Yes, and currently, most of our employees are within walking distance of our facility. We're also located in the county of Los Angeles, city of Los Angeles.
Explain your facility.
Pardon?
What do you do in your facility?
We're a manufacturing company for clothing.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Hugo Morales, and I'm here for you to support
Repeat
Pima.
your name.
Hugo Morales.
Hugo. Okay.
I am here to ask you for your support of Pima because it's a great way to open a door for a lot of people that need money. Right now, we're in a very economical crisis. Everybody needs money to lift up their family and succeed in life. And in this moment, there's no way we could do that with no jobs. So we want you to help us out and give us the opportunity to bring this project to the future.
Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, council members. My name is Myung-Soo Seok. I'm here today as a spokesperson representing Pima. You've heard from 3 of the 4 different employees from the investing companies. You will hear from 1 more. But basically, the story that you're hearing is that through the hard work of these men and women and the investment and the hard work of the owners of these companies, they have an opportunity to really sort of make bigger investment, expand their operation, and hire more people and create more jobs. And that's basically the story of Pima, and that's what we're trying to do. Pima will consist of like different manufacturing center, design center, IT center for marketing, warehouse distribution, and we'll house 4 corporate headquarters. And you'll hear different stories about Pima, but if I could just share with you, reiterate what Councilmember Perry said. Currently, our permanent employee consists of 40% within 1 mile radius of the proposed site, 65% within 3 miles of the proposed site, and 68% of our current workers right now live in zip codes with 200% of LA County's average unemployment rate. So
You're going to have to wrap it up because everybody gets 1 minute.
So I want to thank you for your consideration. We'd like to ask your support. And I would actually like to have the employees of Pima to stand up and...
You get 1 minute.
Thank you.
Stay
there.
Okay.
You got a question?
I have a question. So basically, the main work that is done by Pima is manufacturing of clothing, design, the envelope of what it takes to manufacture clothes, right?
Exactly. So basically, each company is a little bit different, but the whole idea is that within Pima, there's a full-on manufacturing. In fact, the shirt that you see today is actually manufactured not only in USA, but actually from one of the companies in LA. So these are LA manufactured T-shirts.
And the kind of industry you're in, is that an industry that is most likely Americans are buying their apparel from overseas, or most of the apparel that Americans buy is here, manufactured here domestically?
I would basically say anybody who's actually still manufacturing in United States, let alone Los Angeles, should be applauded because they're one of the very, very few.
So your competition is worldwide, China, other countries that are not paying their people anywhere near what people get paid in LA?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
My question is, why can't they do it without that little piece of land that people want as a farm? Why can't they just do the thing with minus that 2 acres? What is it, 2 acres? 6. Huh? 2.6
It's
acres.
a 2.6 acre.
This is a project that has 11, how many acres altogether in the piece of land?
13 to 14.
13 to 14.
Roughly about 14.
Roughly about 14. If you take the 2.6 off of it, you're down to 11 point something. So why can't you work with
There's
that?
basically 2 reasons, which is, as we mentioned, as you heard from the employees of these various companies, one of the reasons that they're doing this is, 1, consolidating operation, and they're preparing for growth, which means they could use every single square footage of the available space in order to grow. The larger the facility, more they grow, more jobs that they're going to create, more local residents will have a shot at getting jobs at these new facilities. They're a rare breed in an industry right now that is seeing an incredible amount of shrinkage. The fact that you have for manufacturing and designing and all of these kind of operation, and the fact that they're actually making over $30 million of investment into Los Angeles is something that you don't see. And so the trade-off is the smaller the facility, less jobs we're going to create, and less capacity that they're going to be able to create. One of the reasons that they're doing this in the first place. The second place is the incompatibility of the use. When you think about it, the whole area is an industrial site. You will have a lot of like diesel trucks, and we don't have an ability to control what kind of trucks they come in, whether they're clean trucks or dirty trucks, diesel trucks, with all the things that's attached to those trucks. And this is not an industry where it's going to be free of the fumes and all of the stuff. They're just incompatible.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Myers?
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Lynn Myers, and I am here representing the LA Fashion District Business Improvement District Board of Directors, who voted in favor of supporting the proposed amendment. Although the project is not going to be within the boundaries of the LA Fashion District, this proposed industrial development is critical to maintaining the vitality of the Los Angeles fashion industry. A 2011 study found that the LA Fashion District is generating $10.8 billion in economic activity annually. Finding sites where apparel companies can expand and to create jobs and economic development is always important. This site, close to transportation connections to the region, is ideally suited for industrial use. We appreciate Council District 9's recognition of the importance of the apparel industry and of the future of the city of Los Angeles. Thank you.
Maria Garcia, David Roberts, Ernest Roberts, Vivian Bowers.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Maria Garcia. I am here to ask for support for Pima and the proposed land to cash conversion. I have worked at Impact, one of the investing companies of Pima, as a receptionist for 3 years. I am proud to work in a company located in Los Angeles. I am proud to be a Los Angeles resident. Every day we work hard to manufacture high-quality, high-end T-shirts for companies like Lucky Brand, James Purse, and True Legends brand jeans. When the T-shirts finish, we place a tag that says Made in USA. As all of you may know, there aren't too many U.S.-based garment manufacturers, let alone Los Angeles-based. We are one of those very few. We work very hard, and as a team, we have become a successful Los Angeles company. Pima represents an opportunity for our company and our community to grow. By building our new facility, we can consolidate our operations and significantly increase our capacity. This means that instead of 250 employees currently working, we can possibly have over 350 employees working at Impact.
Thank you.
My name is Ernest Roberts. I'm Executive Director of PV Jobs, and some of you know some of the work that we do, coordinating work, construction workforce development. We moved our offices into South Los Angeles over there on 41st and Main, not too far actually from the project area, because the need in SPA 6, Service Provider Area 6, is so great. It has the highest number of unemployed, the highest rates of poverty. And when you think about it, with all the people that are coming back from prison as a result of prison downsizing, extraordinary numbers of homeless in the area, it's absolutely imperative that we do economic development in this area. And I would offer the argument that it actually supersedes a lot of the concerns that have expressed here. Of course, I'm very concerned about the environment, parks, and all that stuff, but economic development is critical in this area. They have committed to a very tight radius in the local hire, something like 1 mile. I'm still in negotiations with them on this, and then a secondary radius of maybe 2 miles. So they're looking at a very tight radius from which to get employees employed on this project.
You mentioned formerly incarcerated. and jobs.
Yes.
Does PV Jobs provide opportunities for people who are formerly incarcerated to actually be employed?
Our mission is that the people that come through our organization have barriers to employment. Those with a history of involvement with the justice system constitute about 45% of our population, along with homeless, substance abuse, those people with significant barriers to employment.
So you just outlined people that I would say, it's sad to say, that chronically unemployable. That's
Chronic
the
unemployment
population
is
you
actually
described.
one of the barriers that
And
we
you,
look at.
45% of the people
Are
that you help
felons.
get jobs are from that category?
That's correct. In fact, our database, if you look at our total database, the average at-risk factor in our database, the average candidate is carrying about 4.5 of those at-risk factors. So these are people that have significant barriers to employment. And I just don't see how we can address the concerns of the community without economic development, and this project is perfect for that.
Thank you for your good work.
Thank you.
Let me ask, is John Miller and Jose Parada? Mr. Roberts?
David Roberts, Associate Director for Government Relations with the University of Southern California. Just wanted to go onto the record to express our support for the amendment and recommendations. I think the rationale provided by previous speakers and in the CLA's report are very persuasive. With another role, a secondary hat, I'm also a member of the Prop K LA Voluntary Neighborhood Oversight Committee for the South LA region. We look at Prop K projects in the 8th, 9th, 10th, and 15th Council District, primarily south of the 10 freeway. We actually had a site tour today. First of all, we went to visit the new South LA Wetlands Park at 54th and Avon, so I wanted to give kudos to the leadership that Councilmember Perry provided with that 14-acre wetlands development in South Los Angeles. It's going to be a tremendous project, and we're looking forward to that opening in a few months. Secondly, as a Prop K member, I'm very familiar with the inadequacy of funding to address long-term park improvements and recreational improvements in South Los Angeles. There are very few resources, and the improvements that are planned for Ross Snyder, Fred Roberts, and the Pueblo are long needed and will go to address a lot of community concerns and usage.
So basically, you're pointing out that the $3.5 million or so is going to be dedicated to those three parks that you just mentioned?
Correct.
And without that $3.5 million, how long could you guesstimate that it would take for Prop K to get that money into that amount of money into those parks?
It may be slim and none. There's limited number of resources in the Prop K allocation pool. It's a very competitive process. A couple of those parks have other improvements that have been funded in the past, different from what's proposed here. Pueblo del Rio was not eligible for the Prop K, and the longstanding playground improvements for those kids, especially in that facility, are needed. And again, this is South Los Angeles. There are no Quimby dollars available really in this portion of the neighborhood to address some of those needs.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Barr, before you get started, let me see if John Miller is here, Jose Parada, Julia Sanchez, Ricardo Morales, and Andre Williams.
You can get started.
Oh. Hi, Council Vivian Bowers. I'm representing as a stakeholder, Bowers and Sons Cleaners, and also as president of Central Avenue Business Association. And I would first like to applaud these businesses of Pima on their ability and their will to expand and actually provide jobs at a time when unemployment is at its highest and people such as myself even are rolling back on employment. They are actually going to employ people from our community, and as we all know, the unemployment rate in our area is 12% and probably climbing at this point. In addition, the monies that can be spent on the parks in the area, which I've had the occasion to visit, both for supporting community events and also just to see for myself what was there. The conditions now are very poor and have not been improved upon since the 80s, and we sorely need that improvement in our community.
Thank you.
I think I'm the mysterious Andre Williams.
Good afternoon. I'm Ann Williams with the Central City Association, representing over 400 businesses, employing over 350,000 people in the Los Angeles region. I'm here today in strong support of the conversion of the pledge agreement to a cash payment. In this time when we are bleeding manufacturing jobs, the city should be doing everything in its power to facilitate the growth of facilities precisely like the one being contemplated for the Lancer site. This land is ideally situated for clothing manufacturing, close to established distribution channels and just a few miles from the fashion district that it fuels. Speaking from the perspective of downtown LA, where community-friendly parks are in short supply, we absolutely understand the importance of having access to safe, clean, open space. The $3.6 million in lieu payment is a fair value and will be used to fund these desperately needed improvements. The city needs to be flexible, particularly in this lasting economic downturn, and the conversion from a land pledge to a cash pledge is a reasonable outcome for the owner, the property owner, a win for the city, and a win for the community. Thank you.
Thank you. So what is your name?
I'm John Miller.
John
Miller.
Miller, okay. And sir?
Jose Parada.
Okay. Let me ask the last two cards we have is Julia Sanchez, last call, Roberto Morales, last call. Okay. Mr. Miller?
Hi, I'm here speaking in reference to the resolution 090234SI that the council passed in support of the Occupy LA movement, and I wanted to remind...
Sir, we're here for an item on the agenda.
If you want to speak on general public comment, you can talk about anything you want.
I suppose it's general public comment, yeah.
Okay, well, that'll be later.
This is item 2.
Okay, I was just trying to follow instructions.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mi nombre es José Parada, represento a Pueblo del Río
My name is José Parada, I represent Pueblo del Río,
y estoy a favor de la concejal para que esa inversión sea favorecida
And
al hogar.
I'm in favor of what the councilwoman is proposing so that those funds can be used to better
Donde ahorita estoy habitando,
the place where I currently live.
porque Pueblo del Río necesita inversión, necesita lugares,
Because Pueblo del Río needs more investment, it needs the type of place,
por ejemplo, un gimnasio donde se va a favorecer tanto la juventud de ahora como nosotros los viejitos que estamos, necesitamos
that can
favorecernos.
have something like a gym, because not only would the youth benefit from it, but also seniors, elderly people as myself, we also need to have that type of facility to exercise.
Por favor, les pido el apoyo y que este día salgamos nosotros del Pueblo del Río favorecidos porque ustedes nos han dado ese apoyo
So
necesario.
please, what I am asking of you is to support us, and today I would like to leave here with the thought and you guys making the decision in favor of us, because it will benefit all of us in Pueblo del Río as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, we have two additional, Pedro Barrera and, is it Magdalene? What is it? Miranda? Miranda? Miranda?
Señor Miranda, por favor.
Are you Mr. Miranda?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Pedro Barrera.
Barrera.
Oh, okay.
Pedro Barrera.
Okay, do we have a Miranda in the audience?
El señor Miranda está en el público, por favor, o señora Miranda.
Magali Miranda. Magali Miranda. Okay.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Pedro Barrera
Good afternoon, my name is Pedro Barrera.
y yo soy un miembro de los campesinos que estaban en la 41 y la Alameda.
I'm a member of the farmers, where the farm used to be on 41st and Alameda.
Y quiero darle las gracias a todas estas personas que hoy se están declarando en favor de los campesinos.
And I would like to thank everyone who's declaring their support in favor of the farmers.
Pero quiero también recalcar que nosotros fuimos corridos de ahí
But I would also like to highlight the following point, that we were kicked out of there.
por nuestros mismos líderes.
And we were kicked out of there by our same leaders.
Y gracias a la concejal Jean Perre y al alcalde Antonio Villarraigosa, tenemos un jardín nuevo
And thanks to Councilwoman Jan Perry and to Mayor Villaraigosa, we have a new garden.
y las puertas están abiertas para toda la gente. Les hago la más cordial
And the
invitación
doors to that garden are open to everyone who would like to visit that area. And also, I would like to extend a most sincere invitation.
Y no cobramos como los líderes que teníamos en la 41 y la Alameda.
To everyone, and I would also like to state that there's no charge for going there compared to the leaders who were charging at the previous garden that was located on 41st and Alameda.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, this will
Can
come.
I ask him a question?
Señor.
Senor?
Una pregunta.
I had gone to the gardens when it was a garden, and are you saying that the farmers there now have all been relocated to another place and it's first come, first serve? Explain that a little more.
Nosotros fuimos parte de los que limpiamos la basura de la 41 y Alameda.
We were part of the ones who started and cleaned all of the debris and trash that was at 41st and Alameda.
Y perdimos la propiedad por nuestros líderes.
And we lost that terrain or that plot due to our leaders' fault.
Well, who are these leaders?
El señor Tesosomo.
Mr. Tesosomo.
And what did he do?
¿Y él qué hizo, señor?
Ellos tomaron el puesto de líderes de nosotros.
They took a position of being leaders, our leaders.
Y gracias a ellos perdimos la propiedad porque a nosotros no nos corrió ni el dueño de la propiedad.
And thanks to them, we lost the property because the owner of that property
No nos corrió.
did not kick us out. He did not.
No nos corrió el dueño, no nos corrió la concejal, ni nos corrió el alcalde.
Neither the mayor, nor the council member, nor the owner of the property kicked us out of there.
Y todos los farmers que estaban ahí, estamos en Stanford y Avalon.
And now, all the farmers who were there are currently at Stanford and Avalon.
Y si alguien quiere saber la historia de cómo fuimos expulsados, cada uno le va a explicar su historia de cómo fuimos corridos del
And if
41.
and if anyone is interested in finding out or hearing our story, each one of us has a story to tell as to how each one of us were kicked out of 41st and Alameda or were expelled from there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is Liberio Talato here? Any other card after this will be put in file? Is Liberio here? It doesn't, it says item 2, but it doesn't say for or against. And again, we mentioned the last time calling Miranda, Julia Sanchez, and Ricardo Morales. Miranda is against the proposal, Sanchez and Morales are for the proposal. So we'll put their names in file. Do we have a Liberio Talato?
Iberio Latoa.
Did you fill out a card?
Yes.
Okay, come on up.
Oh, that's
Is he for or against?
¿Está a favor o en contra de esta propuesta?
Yo soy South Central Farm,
¿Está a favor o en contra?
en contra de la venta.
I'm against the sale. I'm from South Central Farm.
Yo soy South Central Farm,
¿Cómo?
soy campesino de South Central Farm.
I'm a farmer at South Central Farm.
El señor Barrera me extraña que nuestra propia raza nos estemos peleando uno al otro.
And I'm very surprised to hear what Mr. Barrera said, that people of our own race, that we're fighting against each other.
¿Por qué no les dice él que les dieron el terreno a donde pasan los cables de alta tensión?
Why doesn't he tell you guys that that plot that was given to them is below the electrical wires?
Nosotros dijimos que íbamos a pelear por la tierra de Alameda, no íbamos a conformarnos por otra.
We said that we were going to fight to get the property of Alameda. We were not going to settle for anything less.
Yo, mi hijo, no voy a exponer a trabajar en los cables de alta tensión.
I am not going to expose my child and be there working and bringing him with him in areas where there are high levels of electrical voltage.
Entonces, así como él dice Yo estoy trabajando, sigo la lucha de traer vegetales orgánicos.
Just like he mentioned, I too am working, I'm continuing with the fight to continue bringing fresh vegetables to the area and for my family.
Yo sigo la lucha. Yo estoy trabajando en Bakersfield y lo estamos trayendo los productos orgánicos 100%.
Also, I continue with the fight, and I work in Bakersfield, and we are working to bring organic vegetables to the area.
Yo estoy haciendo y estoy ¿cómo se llama? Estoy tratando de ser un ejemplo para nuestra comunidad.
I am doing this as a way of trying to be an example in our community.
A mí no me importa, ni soy vendido, ni comprado.
I don't care what people say. I haven't been bought, and I'm not going to sell myself for anything.
Si el señor Barrera de veras es tan hombrecito como dice, yo le reto ahí en Bakersfield donde estamos trabajando.
If Mr. Barrera is such a man as he says he is, then I want to challenge him that he needs to go and stand as a man in front of me and go to Bakersfield, to the fields.
Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, the absolute last card, we have Mr. Hall here with LA Job Corps, but you could come up and speak. No, the students can't speak because we're just going to get you up here and you can reference them, but quickly for 1 minute, and we close, because we will not be able to get to the committee report. We've been well over an hour in this presentation.
And thank you, Councilmember Parks. Very quickly, yes, we as Job Corps, particularly students, are here to certainly approve. Reason being is, you know, we have students from really all around the country that want to come to LA in particular to find employment. We'll train them up in a particular field, and then it's up to them what they choose to do with their life. But certainly, we want to equip them to become employable. This certainly would provide an opportunity for jobs. I think you heard it in the proposal, specifically that Job Corps could benefit. And really, when we say Job Corps, specifically we mean these students who want to go out into the community, who want to earn their own living, to be productive members of society. And I believe that, and we believe that this would give us the opportunity to do just that.
Thank you. If you could just mention your names for the record.
Jacqueline Cottrell.
Andres Lopez.
Irene Daniesta.
Christopher Bray.
Thank you very much for being here. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman.
We're going to close the public comment on item 2. We'd ask the staff to come up at this time.
Good afternoon, Brian Randall, Office of the CLA.
Good afternoon, Ken Matfeld, Deputy City Attorney, Harbor Division.
Why don't you give us a brief overview? We have fairly comprehensive reports and a fact sheet, but just give us an overview of what we're here and what we're being asked to vote on today.
The item before committee today is a request from the Harbor Department that Council amend a previous pledge agreement entered into by the Harbor Department and Levi Horowitz Investment Company concerning the 41st and Alameda property in Council District 9, and also adopt an ordinance to establish a trust fund for the cash pledge. As part of a litigation settlement between Levi Horowitz Investment Company and the Harbor Department, which was approved by Council in August of 2003, a 2.6-acre portion of the property was dedicated to the Department of Recreation and Parks, or a nonprofit designated by Council District 9 for recreation and parks purposes. And attachment 2 of the CLA report provides additional background information on the litigation. On July 12th of this year, Council District 9 requested that the Harbor Board of Commissioners allow Levi Horowitz to change its pledge to dedicate the 2.6 acres and instead provide a cash pledge in the amount of approximately $3.6 million to improve and provide recreational facilities and programs within the property's vicinity. With the assistance of Rec and Parks and the Housing Authority, Council District 9 has developed a list of park improvements at Pueblo del Rio, Fred Roberts Park, and Ross Snyder Park that would receive the funding. As indicated in the attached letter from Council District 9, due to concerns about the health impacts of the users of the park, Council District 9 believes that the site would be more optimally used as a clothing manufacturer center to facilitate economic development in the area and also create jobs for area residents. On August 4th, the Harbor Board of Commissioners considered this request. According to the staff report, August 29th staff report, the commission deferred this matter to council because the item was due to in part to the fact that the Harbor Department is not the beneficiary of the property and the interests of this matter are outside the Harbor Department's jurisdiction. On August 24th, the city attorney submitted a draft ordinance to enact the cash pledge in lieu of the land pledge and create a trust fund to be administered by the CLA. And it is also recommended that council instruct the CLA to coordinate with CD9 and other appropriate city departments to establish a process for the implementation of the pledge agreement.
Is the reason that the Harbor Department's here is that we're asking them to change their previous vote on, they voted on in order to make this that pledge as being authored by this ordinance? Is that why the Harbor Department?
If I could, it is originally a Harbor Department settlement agreement.
That's right.
And the
Your name
pledge,
for the record?
I'm sorry?
Name.
Ken Matfeld, Deputy City Attorney. I'm assigned at the Harbor Division. It was originally a Harbor Department settlement with Liebel Horowitz that resulted in the sale and also includes the promise to dedicate the 2.6 acres. And if I could, just make that point that promise to dedicate 2.6 acres remains unfulfilled today. So the question before the council is just whether to enforce that promise or to release that promise in exchange for cash.
Okay, and that's the pledge that we're asking to be altered today. That's what's before us. The pledge to be altered today is to move it from the commitment for green space or a park and turn that into a pledge for cash.
That's correct.
Okay. Now, what is the role of the Harbor Department today now that you no longer have the property?
I took this release agreement and pledge amendment to the Harbor Department. They considered it. They heard the same sort of testimony that you've heard here this afternoon, and they decided that they weren't, let's say, qualified. They don't know the conditions in South Central LA. They don't know if it's not a decision that's appropriate for the Harbor Department.
So they don't view they have a role in this?
They don't have a role in it.
Okay.
It was just, let's call it a courtesy. I took it as a courtesy to the Harbor Department. It is their agreement, but the result of this pledge release and cash pledge really won't affect Harbor Department finances or Harbor Department
The
property.
cash pledge is now, or what we're asking is between the City of Los Angeles and the owner of the property and the city attorneys providing us the ordinance to move forward.
That's correct.
Okay.
Correct. If I could just clarify, the entire block now, the title to the entire block, sometimes we call it 14 acres, but yet there is still a street and 2 alleys. The alleys are mere shadows at this point, but the easements are still there. So we tend to call it 12.6 acres net.
Okay.
That is all in, that title to that is all in the hands of Liebel Horowitz entity. And just the promise to dedicate the 2.6 remains unfulfilled. And I'd also like to point out that there's a buyer that now wants the entire block, and he has that purchase in escrow. He believes, as you heard, that he needs the entire block for his project, and that he said that if he doesn't get the entire block, the project may fail. And lastly is that when that project gets put on paper, you, the council, will get a CEQA review of that project. The action today is administrative. Before any project goes forward, there'll still have to be another discussion on land use.
With that in mind, if I could, go ahead, Norm, please.
Thank you. But should this go forward, the $3.5 million, that doesn't go away if it transfers from one property owner to another? Okay, property owner X is who owns it, Horowitz owns it right now, property owner
Owns
X.
it all now, but he has a promise to dedicate. So
Exactly,
the
so it's in
property-
escrow with
somewhat
another
burdened-
property owner.
Somewhat burdened, and the escrow
Sure.
covers the whole thing. So
Sure.
if Liebel Horowitz has to fulfill his promise to dedicate, that escrow will probably fail.
However, that's not my question.
Okay.
Should there no longer be a promise to dedicate, and there is a promise of dollars,
Correct.
to the city for the purposes outlined, as you heard 1,000 times in this meeting today, that $3.5+ million is still a commitment, even though it's no longer Horowitz, potentially, who's the owner tomorrow.
Correct.
So in other words, Mr. Horowitz will likely follow through with the clarification of no longer to dedicate land with the new proposed owner in the escrow, and let them know, however, there is another requirement on this land that's committed to the city of Los Angeles, which is dollars, not land, and therefore making them aware of that.
Right.
That can still be held, the new owner will be held accountable to those dollars.
Actually, it goes the other way. The Leba Horowitz entity, or plural.
We'll give it to the city at the close of escrow?
It will make that promise, and it's independent of whether the escrow ever closes.
Correct.
So if the escrow fails to close, if the project,
Then that $3.5 million+ is still an obligation on Mr. Horowitz.
yes,
Now, if the escrow closes, it'll still be an obligation on the new owner.
it's still an obligation on Leba Horowitz regardless. Once this agreement is executed, it's independent of anything that happens with the property.
Then I'm sorry to belabor it, I know we've been taking a long time. So basically, the cash amount, is that somehow reflected on the title?
No.
Is the 2.6 acres reflected on the title?
No.
So where is it reflected so that it can be followed through eventually with Mr. Horowitz?
It's a contract with Leba Horowitz.
So it's a contract between the city and Mr. Horowitz?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That clarifies.
Okay, if I take that point to the next level, were you involved in this in 2003, personally?
I arrived in December of 2003, just as the sale closed, and I handled the litigation wherein the South Central farmers challenged that settlement and sale, both on a process grounds and also on grounds of a gift, or as it says in the Civil Code, waste of public funds. And on both grounds, they were upheld in favor of the city, and both times by the Court of Appeal.
Saying that, we're looking at, you're saying 12.6 acres, and this is 2.6 acres of the 12.6, basically
Correct.
what you're saying. From your professional standpoint at this point, you said earlier that the deal that would take the 12.6 acres is such that the 2.6 is a critical part of that. Am I hearing that correct?
That's not my opinion.
What are you saying?
That's the opinion of the developer, that he needs the entire block for his project.
I see. And in a historic sense, when you were there at that particular point, what was the conversation about the 2.6 acres and its importance for a park? Weren't some of these issues brought up about remediation and what that would look like in an industrial area? I mean, did people discuss that? How did that come into play to begin with?
I did not negotiate the settlement, so I can't say.
Yeah. You don't know the history of how that came about?
I don't know.
I obviously don't know the history. Does anybody in the city know the history of this that's around here right now? Of how that all came about, so we know the history of this? Background?
Excuse me,
please.
the property was purchased when the transaction started with the Harbor Department when Richard Reardon was the mayor. And the Harbor Department ended up taking up the property in eminent domain. Later on, what happened was Mr. Horowitz realized that the Harbor Department / City of Los Angeles was not using the property for the reasons that they eminent domained it. So he went ahead and told the city, I want my property back. Long story short, he goes to court. The court said, Mr. Horowitz is entitled to his property. Governments cannot take property from people just because they feel like it. They have to have a reason in order to eminent domain. We didn't follow through with the reason. So Mr. Horowitz ended up back with the property. And in the meantime, while the Harbor Department had the property, people were allowed to farm on it. And then when Mr. Horowitz got the property back, he said, that's not what I wanted for. That wasn't my decision. I want my property back without people farming on it. Here we are today.
Very good. Thank you for that history.
Mr. Chris? Okay. Any other questions of the staff? Okay. No other questions. So my sense is that we move this to council.
Yes.
Is that a unanimous vote?
Second. Approve, whatever.
Ms. Corretz? All right. With a unanimous vote, we'll move this to council as recommended by the CLA report and recommendations. Okay, next item.
What was the vote there?
Unanimous.
4-0.
4-0. Thank you. Next item.
Okay, we move to item 3.
When is that coming to council?
They want it mid-November.
Not scheduled. Okay.
We'll find out, though.
Thank you.
Yeah, they want it mid-November. They want some time between.
Okay, item 3, Office of Finance report relative to the annual statement investment policy effective September 30th, 2011.
For those that are leaving, could you be as quiet as possible so we can continue our committee meeting? All right. Thank you. You take all conversation to the hallway. Okay. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Councilmember Parks, members of the Budget and Finance Committee. I'm Antoinette Cristal. I'm the City Treasurer, and with me today is Tom Juarez. Oh, Mike's not on?
Closer.
Testing?
Yeah, there you go.
Closer.
Yes.
Good afternoon. I'm Antoinette Cristal, City Treasurer, Office of Finance. With me today is Tom Juarez. He is the Chief Investment Officer. Today we present the annual statement of investment policy. Per the Los Angeles Administrative Code, the City Treasurer is required to submit annually the statement of investment policy. The policy that is submitted, we do not have any substantial changes to it. We basically edited some language to provide clarity. Sorry?
The crowd there.
There's a lot of background noise.
A lot of background noise.
Okay, much better.
Okay, you're good.
Where do you want me to start? Okay, the policy itself, we did not make any substantial changes to it. The last policy, I believe, was approved back in February of 2010. In this particular policy, there were not any changes at the state level. We did have our investment advisor, Main Street Capital Advisors, review the legislative California Government Code, and there were not any changes there. We did provide some clarity to the policy itself. We can go through the changes if you like, or
Why don't you
just
give us
open
the
up to
thumbnail of the
questions.
changes?
Okay, very briefly, in Chapter 5, we changed the term reasonable to market rate of return. That's on page 2, Section 5. And we did that to reference, to be more in line with the investment objectives
Go ahead, friend.
as recommended by the Government Finance Officers Association, GFOA.
Now, where's that on page 5? What now?
I'm sorry, Section 5, page 2. We changed the term reasonable to market rate of return, and that's in reference to the investment objectives as recommended by GFOA. So that's more in line with the industry standard per GFOA. Section 5, page 3, we added a reference to the collected balance accounts, since they are also a source of funds that we use when measuring sufficiency of liquidity. Collected balance represents the amounts that are maintained in our bank account. Section 7, page 3, we deleted the word loss since it was redundant. If you look at that section, it speaks to protecting assets from theft or misuse. We believe that sufficiently states the intention of the policy. Section 8, page 5, we added the word full, F-U-L-L, to market value.
Oh, section what now?
Section 8, page 5.
Page 5.
Subset C or?
Yes.
Yes, sorry. We added the word full to market value to clarify the intention and industry standard that accrued interest is included when calculating the accurate market value of instruments.
What paragraph is that? We've added.
Paragraph, which paragraph is that?
Paragraph 2, under repurchase agreements.
Okay, toward the bottom, second
Yes.
paragraph. Second paragraph in that section,
Yes.
Yes.
correct?
And you added the word
Market value.
full.
1, 2, 3, 4 lines down to the right.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Section 8, page 9, and that is under E. We added language to include securities purchased in conjunction with the city's securities lending program, since that is part of that process. That's in the first paragraph of E. And then we added a new section, Section 10, and that's on page 11, training and continuing education section. We believe it's prudent for our investment officers to have training, at least 16 hours we are encouraging of continuing education credits as it relates to cash and investment management.
Okay.
And those are the changes.
When you added number 10, let's see, on page 10, I'm sorry, page 10, I, do we have access to the approved list of authorized dealers and issuers? Is that part of your report?
That's actually something that we submit each time we submit our monthly investment report. And so it was in the last monthly investment report, the one that was released for September last week.
Report.
It is part of the monthly report that we submit.
Could we get a copy of that list when this gets to council?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
When
we can.
attached to this file?
Yes.
Okay, and then the other issue is that, have you begun to consider any of the recommendations from the responsible banking issue within your process of looking at our overall policy, investment policy?
Yes, we've been working collaboratively with the CAO's office. We met with the CAO, members of his staff, and city attorney representatives and the like to discuss the next steps. We did provide a report, a letter to the CAO's office addressing some of our concerns, and we will be working with them in the development of the final report, which I understand will be submitted to your committee around November 21st.
Thank you for the report. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. We'll move that item. Thank you.
Thank you.
And just ask for that one instruction that we get that list of authorized dealers and issuers to be attached to this council file and come to council when this report is heard.
Back to item 1.
Last item.
Want to go to general public comment?
We got one public comment card.
General public.
General public comment. Mr. John Miller.
Thank you. Sorry for speaking out of turn before. I wanted to speak to you about the resolution that was passed 090234 SI in favor of the Occupy LA movement. And this was passed on October 5th, and as most of you know, the movement has gotten quite a bit larger since then. And I don't know if you know that the City Council has the distinction of being the only elected body of my knowledge in the world that has passed any resolution in favor or against Occupy LA, and they've gone a step further by recommending that your responsible banking measure, CF 090234, be brought to a final vote by October 28th, which is this Friday. And it's my understanding that the responsible banking measure is still under the purview of the committee, and I was wondering if there was going to be any movement on it by October 28th.
I think in the council, the date was moved to the 21st of November, and it will have a hearing with no vote in council the following day.
Okay, my dates are old then.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to let you know that the opportunity you have here of being the first elected body to take a recommendation from the Occupy movement that is general. I think we can tell a voice of the people, and being the first body to actually make a movement, a policy change, a positive policy change based on a recommendation made by one of the Occupy movements. And that would be another example of Los Angeles leading California and California leading the world. And I think it could be a really good energy to help the popular movement move forward. And I just want to make sure that you understand the responsibility that you have for all that. So.
Well, let me just say, don't want to break up dates and this love affair, but the issue is that responsible banking ordinance has been in this committee for about a year.
Oh, I completely agree. So
it was this recent motion addressed the Occupy issue and threw in a paragraph about a previous motion that dealt with responsible banking. But this committee has been reviewing responsible banking for over a year.
And I really commend the committee and the council for being able to bring those two issues together, and I hope that we can make some really positive movement on it in the next few weeks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Next item.
Next item actually is the first one, which is a closed session item.
Yeah, it's been over. It's been-
Everybody here?
Yes,
Stay.
only you stay.
Hold on.
Adjourn.
Thank you.
Yeah. And you're right, the county can't, but, yeah.